Francis Frank G. Castle was born Francis Castiglione in Queens, New York, to Sicilian immigrants Mario and Luisa. He briefly studied at a seminary before marrying Maria. They had 2 children, Lisa and Frank Jr. Frank enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps, serving as a scout sniper in multiple conflicts, including the Siang Kong War, where he earned a Bronze Star, Silver Star, and 4 Purple Hearts. After returning home, Maria and their children were murdered in Central Park during a mob-led hit they witnessed. Castle survived and assumed responsibility for their deaths by launching a one-man war against organized crime. He debuted as an assassin targeting Spider-Man in The Amazing Spider-Man, number 129. That issue shows Castle working under the Jackal, later revealing his personal code: he kills only murderers. Subsequent appearances include Punisher, which solidified his lone wolf status and reinforced his violent methods. In Marvel Knights number 1, he teams up with vigilantes like Daredevil, Black Widow, Dagger, and Shang-Chi. The 2001 Punisher series sees him collaborating with NYPD detective characters, drowning criminals and confronting Russian mobsters. Punisher War Journal number 1 explores his role post-Civil War, where he opposes the Superhuman Registration Act. During Dark Reign, he targets Norman Osborn's hammer using guerrilla tactics. In Punisher Warzone, he clashes with the Avengers and faces Spider-Man again. Frank remains human, not superhuman, but demonstrates peak physical condition, martial arts, military tactics, marksmanship, demolitions, and guerrilla warfare. He's known for wearing a skull emblem on his chest, representing death for criminals. Namor Mackenzie is Prince of Atlantis and son of human explorer Leonard Mackenzie and Atlantean Princess Fen. He debuted in Marvel Comics number 1 as the first mutant in this universe. Namor means avenging sun in Atlantean. He possesses superhuman strength and endurance, gills for underwater breathing, winged ankles for flight, and high swimming speed. Namor began as a hostile invader attacking surface dwellers. Early stories showed him as both adversary and ally to surface heroes during World War II, including fighting alongside the Human Torch and Captain America against Axis forces. Namor returned in Silver Age in Fantastic Four number 4, when the Human Torch rediscovered him as an amnesiac. This revival restored his identity and position as Atlantean ruler. He earned his own title Prince Namor, the Submariner. This run introduced key foes: Atlantean warlord Atuma, geneticist Dr. Lemuel Dorcas, warlord Krang, and the shark-powered Tiger Shark. Namor's battle cry, Imperious Rex, first appeared here. Namor has alternated roles as enemy and teammate to groups such as the Defenders, Avengers, Illuminati, and X-Men. His loyalty always centers on Atlantis' welfare above human-aligned causes. Namor Conquered Shores is a 5-issue miniseries depicting a post-apocalyptic mission that teams him with Human Torch, Captain America, and Luke Cage. In MCU, Namor first appeared in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever as ruler of Talokan, a Mesoamerican-influenced underwater civilization. The film shows him using vibranium-infused heritage to gain hybrid physiology and winged ankles, entering conflict and eventual alliance with Wakanda. Talokan holds deep ties to his people through vibranium-based serum ingested by his mother in the 16th century on the Yucatan Peninsula, granting him deity status among his underwater nation. Namor's goal in that film is to protect Talokan from surface intrusion and propose a strategic partnership with Wakanda. This resulted in battle, followed by a cautious alliance that preserves Talokan's security. James Howlett was born in late 19th century Alberta, Canada, to wealthy parents John Howlett Jr. and Elizabeth. He was sickly as a child and grew up with a companion named Rose and a groundskeeper's son called Dog. His mutant claws first appeared in Origin number 2 when he avenged his father's death by killing Thomas Logan, who was later implied to be his biological father. His mother then took her own life. Rose fled with a mentally shaken James, who adopted the name Logan and earned his nickname Wolverine from locals due to his feral behavior. Logan's healing factor granted him rapid regeneration, heightened senses, slowed aging, and retractable bone claws. He lived through global conflicts, including the American Civil War, both World Wars, the Spanish Civil War, and the Vietnam War. His life of violence led to the statement, "I'm the best there is at what I do, but what I do best isn't very nice." During the Weapon X program in the early 1990s, Logan's skeleton was coated with unbreakable adamantium. He endured brutal experimentation that erased much of his memory. This procedure transformed him into a living weapon and solidified his identity as Wolverine. Following Weapon X, Logan was recruited by Department H, a Canadian government agency, marking his first use of the name Wolverine in official capacity. He later joined the X-Men after being approached by Charles Xavier. As a founding member, he evolved from lone mercenary to the team's moral anchor, while also working with Alpha Flight, X-Force, the Avengers, and occasional alliances with the Fantastic Four. Key adversaries include Victor Creed, Sabretooth, a lifelong rival who shares his regenerative powers and claws, Mr. Sinister, a genetic scientist who manipulated him during his early life, and the Weapon X Project, the organization that forcibly bonded adamantium to his bones. Wolverine's defining traits include his unbreakable adamantium skeleton, regenerative healing, retractable claws, aged wisdom from over a century of life, and his balance between feral instincts and loyalty to others. His story shows a man shaped by trauma who chose to protect others and fight alongside mutants in search of belonging. Wade Wilson was born November 22, 1973 in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, and grew into a skilled Canadian Army operative before being dishonorably discharged for defying orders. After his discharge, he operated as a mercenary, engaging in global conflicts and underworld contracts until being diagnosed with terminal cancer. Seeking a cure, Wilson volunteered for the Weapon X program, where scientist Emrys Killebrew administered a healing serum derived from James Howlett DNA. The serum halted his cancer and granted rapid regenerative healing, capable of regrowing limbs and resisting toxins, but it also caused extreme scarring and survivability in fatal situations. During his time in Weapon X, Wilson received the codename Deadpool after organizing a betting pool among test subjects to see who would die first. He eventually escaped the facility, took on the Deadpool identity, and resumed mercenary activities while his chaotic behavior evolved into morally ambiguous anti-hero actions. Deadpool first appeared in the New Mutants number 98, introduced as an antagonist with super agility and lethal intent. He later starred in his first solo series Deadpool, The Circle Chase, followed by limited comic arcs like Deadpool, Sins of the Past, which explored his relationships with Teresa Cassidy, Siren, wife Vanessa Carlyle, and rival Kane. Wilson's core abilities consist of a superhuman healing factor, enhanced strength, peak agility, expert marksmanship, and martial arts skill. He frequently uses dual katanas, firearms, and explosives. He is also known for breaking the fourth wall, addressing the reader directly as part of his unpredictable persona. Key allies include Blind Al, a captive but caring older woman, Weasel, his black market weapons supplier, his fiancée known as Copycat who shares shape-shifting abilities, and Wade's daughter Ellie Camacho, who briefly becomes a sidekick. Notable enemies include Dr. Emrys Killebrew, who performed his experiments, Ajax, a sadistic guard in Weapon X, Slayback, a fellow operative, and recurring clashes with Cable, Siren, and even Thanos over cosmic conflicts involving death. On screen, Wade first appeared as Weapon 11 in X-Men Origins Wolverine, where his powers were altered and mouth sewn shut, deviating significantly from his comic persona. He later returned in Deadpool, and Deadpool 2, where he saved Vanessa and formed X-Force to protect mutant Russell Collins, Fire Fist. In Deadpool and Wolverine, Wilson lives quietly when agents of the Time Variance Authority recruit him to restore balance to the multiverse alongside Wolverine's variant. The film introduces Lady Deadpool, Wanda Wilson, a red and black suited variant from Earth 3010. Edward Charles Allen Eddie Brock was a human investigative journalist whose life unraveled after losing his job at the Daily Globe and being publicly shamed when Spider-Man debunked his story in Amazing Spider-Man number 300. Tormented by crisis, he entered a church intending self-harm when an alien symbiote, Spider-Man's rejected black costume, merged with him, creating the entity Venom. The symbiote species originated on planet Clintar and bonded with a host to form a shared consciousness, combining alien instincts with human traits. Under Eddie's influence, Venom retained Spider-Man's abilities, strength, durability, webbing, but also developed shape-shifting limbs and powerful regenerative healing. Eddie's symbiosis gave Venom a twisted sense of justice. They targeted Spider-Man, blaming him for Eddie's ruin, but avoided attacking innocents. Venom's debut as Spider-Man's foe established a deep rivalry rooted in shared knowledge of Spider-Man's identity and the symbiote's resentment. Storylines like Venom, Lethal Protector, depict Eddie striving to be a protector while often using extreme violence. In the 2017 Venomverse arc, Eddie teams with alternate Venom versions and combats the poisons, demonstrating his leadership and expanding reach. During King in Black, Eddie senses the arrival of Null and joins global heroes to defend Earth, displaying heroism beyond personal vendetta. Venom's core strengths include superhuman power capable of lifting over 11 tons, rapid healing, extreme durability, and organic webbing. Weaknesses remain intense vulnerability to sonic and heat attacks. On screen, Eddie first appears bonded with Venom in Venom 2018, navigating their symbiotic relationship to protect humanity against criminal factions. They reappear in Venom, Let There Be Carnage, confronting symbiote offspring Carnage, and in Venom, The Last Dance, where they face Null and sacrifice Venom to save the planet, though a fragment of the symbiote survives, hinting at future returns. On-screen adaptations emphasize uniqueness of Eddie's bond with Venom, earning the title Lethal Protector and establishing him among the most iconic Marvel anti-heroes. Felicia Hardy was born in New York City as the daughter of master thief Walter Hardy, who was imprisoned when she was 13. She trained in gymnastics and martial arts before beginning burglary work under her father's mentor and adopting the alias Black Cat to orchestrate a prison break for her father before his death. As Black Cat, she first clashed with Spider-Man while stealing police files to free her father. Despite their adversarial start, she developed a romantic bond and occasional partnership with Peter Parker, revealing his civilian identity and seeking to help him despite her criminal lifestyle. Felicia later gained probability-altering powers, commonly called bad luck, through experiments commissioned by the Kingpin. These abilities caused misfortune to her foes, but strained her relationship with Spider-Man. Doctor Strange later removed this power, ending her aura of bad luck. After losing her mutant-like gift, she outfitted herself with high-tech gear created by the Tinkerer: earrings enhancing balance, electromagnetic contact lenses, microservos boosting strength to Olympic level, retractable claws and gloves, and grappling hooks modeled after her father's design, enabling her to match superpowered adversaries. Felicia's morality fluctuated. She led her own crew, joined the Heroes for Hire team with Misty Knight and Colleen Wing, and was labeled hero, criminal, and ally at different times. During the Civil War event, she registered with authorities and joined the Heroes for Hire, apprehending unregistered superhumans. She appeared in miniseries including Claws, pairing with Wolverine in the Savage Land to survive Arcade's traps, and in Black Cat, where she led solo heists before a Null-related conflict forced her into a heist that involved X-Men, Captain America, and Doctor Strange. She remains vulnerable as a human, but can challenge enhanced opponents through skill and invention. Felicia Hardy embodies the classic antihero, morally ambiguous cat burglar who shifts between crime and occasional heroism. Her evolving abilities and conflicted loyalties make her a compelling figure in the Marvel Universe. Mark Spector was born to a rabbi whose family escaped Europe during the 1930s. He grew into a heavyweight boxer, joined the United States Marine Corps, then became a CIA operative. Disillusioned by violence, he worked as a mercenary under his friend Jean-Paul Duchamp, known as Frenchie. During a mission in Sudan, his colleague Raoul Bushman betrayed him by killing an archaeologist and the man's daughter, Marlene Alraun. Spector was left for dead in an Egyptian desert tomb, where the moon god Khonshu revived him. He emerged believing he was chosen as Khonshu's fist to wage justice at night. After resurrection, Spector created the vigilante identity Moon Knight and adopted two alter egos: Stephen Grant, a millionaire front to fund his activities, and Jake Lockley, a down-to-earth taxi driver who gathers street intel. These identities support his mission and shield his true self. Moon Knight debuted as a mercenary antagonist in Werewolf by Night number 32, before turning heroic in Marvel Spotlight number 28 to 29. He carried moon-themed silver weapons and glider cape to battle supernatural threats. He formed bonds with Frenchie, Marlene Alraun, who first saved him after his rebirth, and street informants Bertrand Crawley and Gina Landers. He later joined teams such as the West Coast Avengers, Secret Avengers, and Heroes for Hire, though he mostly operated solo. Moon Knight's abilities stem from his god-imbued strength that increases with moonlight, advanced combat and detective skills, strategic wealth usage, and a mental state shaped by dissociative identity disorder. He also assumes the persona Mr. Knight in a tailored suit suited for crime scene diplomacy. Major story arcs include Moon Knight, 2021, that dive into his fractured mind while running a refuge called the Midnight Mission. On screen, Mark Spector appears in a 2022 miniseries spread over 6 episodes. Presented as both mercenary and gift shop employee Stephen Grant, led into a supernatural mystery involving Khonshu and Egyptian gods. Elektra Natchios was born on a Greek island near the Aegean Sea to Ambassador Hugo Kostas Natchios and his mother Christina, who died shortly after childbirth. She trained in martial arts from age 10 and rose to black belt level by 12, mastering ninjutsu, gymnastics, strength, reflexes, and stamina at top human limits. As a young adult, she moved to the United States and attended Columbia University, where she met law student Matt Murdock, who later became Daredevil. Their romantic relationship formed amidst her growing violent impulses. After her father's death during a hostage incident, she sought out the Chaste, led by mentor Stick, but was rejected for her rage. Following rejection by the Chaste, she joined the Hand, a secretive ninja cult, infiltrating them with the intent to dismantle them. Instead, she was trained into a top assassin by them before escaping and becoming a mercenary for hire. Elektra debuted in Daredevil number 168 as a lethal bounty hunter. She clashed repeatedly with Daredevil and built her reputation as a deadly opponent before being brutally killed by assassin Bullseye in Daredevil number 181. impaled on her own side during a confrontation. Her death was followed by resurrection through a hand ritual and a cleansing process by Stick, after which she joined the Chaste temporarily. That alliance ended when she succumbed again to dark impulses and returned to solo mercenary life. She also teamed up with Wolverine, joined Heroes for Hire, Thunderbolts, and SHIELD missions. She is vulnerable to normal human harm and dependent on her skill and weaponry. Elektra Natchios remains a quintessential Marvel anti-hero, defined by her deadly training, moral ambiguity, intense personal connections, and multiple resurrections. Teth Adam is the ancient Egyptian prince chosen by the wizard Shazam. When he spoke the name Shazam, he became the warrior known as Mighty Adam, drawing power from 6 Egyptian deities. Adam served Egypt honorably until his wife Sharuda and their sons were slain by the priest Akhton using the Orb of Ra. Grief transformed him into the ruthless ruler Black Adam. The wizard Shazam renamed him and exiled him, sealing him in Ramses II's tomb. Sealed for centuries, Black Adam was freed in modern times. He opposed Captain Marvel, also known as Shazam, and became a recurring enemy. In Infinite Crisis, he joined the secret society of supervillains to protect his homeland of Kondak, fighting alongside global adversaries and taking part in the Villains United storyline. In JSA, Black Reign, Black Adam liberated Kondak from tyranny, became its dictator, and battled the Justice Society of America. He was ultimately defeated and depowered by Atom Smasher, but left in charge under the condition he not leave the country. Adam rampaged in the global event World War III, destroying landmarks like the Leaning Tower of Pisa and slaying numerous heroes. Captain Marvel and fellow Mystics finally stripped his powers and changed his magic word to prevent transformation. Adam reverted to his human form and vanished, wandering the Middle East searching for the new word. Later, Black Adam found love and family. He rescued Adriana Tomaz from Intergang, then granted her the powers of Isis. He also empowered her brother Amon Tomaz, who became the hero Osiris. Together, they formed a family until tragedy struck again when Adriana, Amon, and their child were killed. This led Adam to unleash genocide on the nation of Bialia. In the New 52 reboot, his origin was updated. He became the corrupted uncle of the wizard's true successor, his nephew Amon, who passed his powers to Adam to save his life. Amon died. Adam went on a vengeful spree and was sealed away. Later, he resurfaced to aid Queen Hippolyta during the Endless Winter crossover and eventually reclaimed Kondak as its protector and ruler. The Black Adam solo series introduced his descendant Malik Adam White, to whom he passed the mantle as he faced a necrotic illness. Teth Adam's powers include superhuman strength, speed, stamina, durability, magical lightning manipulation, expert combat skills, and invulnerability. His weakness is vulnerability to magical lightning or spells specifically designed to nullify his abilities. Jason Peter Todd is a street-savvy youth from Gotham whose parents died under criminal assault. Bruce Wayne took him in after discovering him near the Batmobile. He trained under Wayne as the second Robin and became Batman's junior partner. Following years of crime fighting, Todd's aggressive style led him into danger. Joker captured him in a warehouse rigged with explosives. Todd was resurrected via Lazarus Pit after being revived by Talia al Ghul. He spent time regaining memory and training globally before returning to Gotham as the anti-hero Red Hood. As Red Hood, he commandeered a helmet once used by Joker, then violently reclaimed control of street-level drug and weapons rackets, hijacked a kryptonite shipment, and delivered it publicly, then returned it to frame his presence. Todd tracked Joker to an abandoned carnival, beat him with a crowbar, then left him alive. His methods put him at odds with Batman and Nightwing. He ultimately revealed his identity and confronted Tim Drake atop Titan's Tower, demanding validation of his worth. After reconciliation, Todd founded the Outlaws team, working alongside Starfire and Arsenal to fight crime. His powers include mastery of combat, tactical planning, acrobatics, peak physical conditioning, and proficiency with firearms, knives, explosives, and high-tech armor. Jason's journey moves from street orphan to sidekick, death, rebirth, violent anti-hero, team leader, and mentor. His evolution reflects moral complexity and enduring impact within the DC mythos. John Constantine is a working-class occult detective from Liverpool. He was born on May 10, 1953, alongside a twin brother who died in childbirth. His birth indirectly caused his mother's death and led to a troubled childhood with his father. Constantine escaped Liverpool in his teens and lived in London by 1969, where he joined occult circles and roomed with his friend Chas Chandler. As a young adult, Constantine formed a magical punk band called Mucous Membrane and attempted powerful rituals. One mishap unleashed the demon Nurgle and led to his breakdown and commitment to Ravenscar Asylum. Constantine develops terminal lung cancer and defeats the Lords of Hell to cure himself. Constantine repeatedly faces apocalyptic threats, sacrificing relationships and bearing guilt as a skilled manipulator who uses magic and cunning. Constantine joined Justice League Dark, restructuring a group of mystical heroes to oppose the Enchantress. Constantine protects his daughter Rose, Psychic, at the Tower of Fate and joins magical teams against Raven and Wonder Woman. Constantine's abilities include expert magic in necromancy, pyrokinesis, teleportation, exorcism, illusion casting, divination, and manipulation. His moral code is complex. He works for the greater good, yet uses selfish methods that often bring personal and collateral harm. His narrative centers on sacrifice, moral ambiguity, and the heavy cost of wielding dark powers. Harley Quinn is a former psychiatrist from Arkham Asylum. She became obsessed with her patient, the Joker, and adopted the Harley Quinn persona, assisting him in escaping the asylum. After operating as the Joker's accomplice, Quinn broke away and became a solo figure in Gotham's criminal world. Harley developed a close partnership with Pamela Iley, who is a botanist with plant-based powers known as Poison Ivy. Their relationship evolved into a romantic bond reinforced in comics like Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. Harley then featured prominently in Gotham City Sirens, joining forces with Catwoman and Poison Ivy and revealing her Brooklyn origins and family background. She became part of the Suicide Squad. Undertaking government missions in the Infinite Frontier, Harley returned to Gotham as a hero-leaning character, seeking redemption and resuming her work as a psychologist. Quinn also appears in major crossover events like Heroes in Crisis, where she deals with trauma alongside Ivy, and participates in the Joker War, operating alongside Bat family members. Her skills include high-level acrobatics, hand-to-hand combat, immunity to toxins, use of oversized weapons, strategic thinking, and training in psychology. Harley Quinn's evolution traces her from supporting villain to independent anti-heroine, whose journey spans mental breakdown, alliance formation, team leadership, moral reformation, and sustained transformation. Selina Kyle is Catwoman, a Gotham City master thief. Raised in a broken home, she turned to burglary early and became known for stealing high-value items in Gotham. Her character evolved over time, alternating between adversary and ally to Batman, with a morality path that highlights shades of gray. Her modern origin was redefined in Batman Year One, portraying her as a streetwise sex worker defending a friend. That story grounded her background and showed her resilience. In Catwoman, Volume 4, Number 1, Kyle emerged from a crime-focused upbringing in the Calabrese crime family in Villa Hermosa, California, before returning to Gotham. In Rebirth continuity, her childhood of domestic abuse shaped her survival instinct and street skills. She has also been part of Outsiders, Birds of Prey, Justice League, and the Secret Society of Supervillains. In Batman Hush, Kyle steals ransom money for a kidnapped boy, confronts Poison Ivy's manipulation, and enters a romantic partnership with Batman that leads to him briefly revealing his identity to her. In the Night of the Owls crossover, she aligned with the Bat family to defend Gotham against the Court of Owls. Her weapons and skills include expert stealth, peak agility, martial arts, and proficiency with a bullwhip. She balances burglary and vigilantism, sometimes protecting Gotham's East End through reluctant altruism. The Catwoman Copycats arc shows her framed by imposters in Villa Hermosa while trying to leave Gotham behind. Selina's arc shows progression from cat burglar to conflicted vigilante, operating under her own moral code. She remains one of Gotham's most enduring antiheroes, shifting between criminal independence and protective loyalty. Floyd Lawton is Deadshot, a Gotham-based assassin. He grew up in a wealthy yet abusive family estate, following a tragic childhood incident where he accidentally killed his brother Eddie while trying to shoot his abusive father. Lawton swore to never miss his target again. Lawton trained under elite assassin David Kane, mastering marksmanship, hand-to-hand combat, martial arts, and military tactics. He began his career as a vigilante in Gotham City, adopting a top hat, tuxedo, and wrist-mounted firearms. Once exposed by Batman for aiding criminal operations, Lawton was imprisoned. After escaping incarceration, Lawton embraced his lethal talents as a world-class mercenary. He became known for never missing a shot and acquired custom wrist guns, specialized armor, and a high-tech mask featuring night vision and thermal sensors. Lawton joined Task Force X, also called the Suicide Squad, under Amanda Waller's leadership. He served as a core member and field leader, often clashing with teammate Captain Boomerang and Commander Rick Flag. His motivations included earning freedom and protecting his daughter Zoe. Lawton's storyline in The War of Jokes and Riddles reveals his alliance with the Joker in Gotham's gang conflict. He sustained injuries and civilian casualties during a sniper duel with Deathstroke. In modern arcs, Lawton rejoined the Suicide Squad in Forever Evil and participated in Rebirth-era missions, including killing a senator under orders to stop Rick Flag. He later nearly died preventing enemies from exploiting his daughter, then returned to active duty. Lawton's personal arcs include reconnecting with his estranged daughter Zoe and her mother Michelle, where he defended them from gangs, set up a scholarship, and eventually faked his own death after ensuring their safety. Lawton's arc evolves from privileged vigilante to lethal mercenary and reluctant hero. His struggle centers on precision, lethal skill, and paternal responsibility, making him a pivotal antihero within DC's morally complex stories. Lobo is the last surviving warrior from planet Charnia. He eradicated his own species and became an interstellar bounty hunter known as the Main Man. He is infamous for over-the-top violence, colorful language, and brutal humor. Lobo functions as both adversary and reluctant ally to major heroes. He has battled Superman, worked with Justice League, Legion, Rebels, Young Justice, and aligned with the Red Lantern Corps. Key events include a Colorado prison breakout after a crash landing, showcasing his super strength, durability, regeneration, and near immortality. His gear includes chain gun weapons, spacecraft Space Hog, and biker kit. Notable arcs include Lobo, Highway to Hell, detailing his cosmic mayhem, and Crushin' Lobo, exploring interstellar team-ups. Lobo's narrative arc moves from genocidal mercenary to chaotic antihero following his own code. His stories highlight brutal humor, unstoppable power, and unpredictable loyalties. Jean-Paul Valley is Azrael. He was raised as a test tube baby conditioned by the Order of St. Dumas, steeped in breeding assassin traits, and guided by subconscious training known as the System. Valley lived as a graduate student at Gotham University and worked for Wayne Enterprises before discovering his father's role and meeting Nomas in Switzerland for formal indoctrination into the Order's assassin lineage. Donning the Azrael helmet triggered his fierce, Angel of Death persona, which he learned to control and gradually used to aid Batman in crime fighting. When Batman's spine was broken by Bane, Valley replaced him during the 1993 Nightfall event, adopting a high-tech armored batsuit and a more violent approach. His aggressive tactics led to clashes with Batman's allies until Bruce Wayne returned, reclaimed the mantle, and Valley abandoned that identity. Valley then starred in his own Azrael series, exploring his struggle with violent programming, moral conflict, order opposition, friendship with Dr. Brian, descent into homelessness, and eventual redemption before his apparent death in issue number 100. Valley's powers include enhanced strength, speed, stamina, durability, sensory perception, and empathic visions via touch, all amplified by his conditioning. His skills cover martial arts, expert swordsmanship with the Flaming Sword of Salvation, tactical strategy, computer literacy, and medical knowledge. Jean-Paul's journey moves from conditioned assassin to Gotham ally. His tale embodies the conflict of free will against indoctrinated purpose within DC's anti-hero spectrum.